What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the Sooner Surge. A little instant reaction post-game softball video where softball live, where the Sooners have just fallen to the Florida Gators by a score of 9-3 in what was really, I know Jay's going to join in a second. I see a lot of comments on here, mind-boggling on some things that happen. Some things definitely that OU's not accustomed to happening today, and it started right off the bat. I see many comments. Chief T-Bird says, got to get Sanders out of the lineup, no question. Chief T-Bird says, look, she had a 3-pitch strikeout, then she had the one where she struck out on the changeup. Not good. Chief T-Bird, it wasn't good. Sydney says that Gasso is much to blame on that base running. Yeah, she was kind of waving her. Look, on that play, now obviously you go 1-1 right there. If you could literally have just stood on the bag and you're going to score if she drops the ball out there. That was a miscue. You had the Jennings bobble early on where they got their run early. Nicole May pitched okay in the first 2 innings. Third inning, they started tagging her. But, Jay, I know what everyone's going to say because I know what you're going to say. Maxwell should have started that game. In hindsight, 2020, she should have.
Colin, rest up and kick butt tomorrow. I agree. We can talk about this, all the things that we want to talk about. And this is a great question. Jeremy says, what's the most important thing that needs to change for tomorrow? Well, if OU scores 3 runs tomorrow, I think they win. You got to get out to an early. You can't have opportunities in the early part of the game and not and squander them. And you got to play heads up ball. You can't have mental errors that they had a little bit today. But I think it's going to come down to one thing. It's going to come down to Kelly Maxwell, how she pitches tomorrow. I think the Sooners, this starting pitcher for Florida, who's probably going to go tomorrow, 130 pitches. And let me just say this and get this off my chest before I go any further. I do not think the rule change today where they back the game up to tomorrow, I don't really agree with it. I think they should have moved everything back a day. So, like, should have moved the World Series championship to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because what you're doing is you're really benefiting the teams like Stanford and Florida if they are to win that first game because their pitcher didn't have to go back to back. And with that being said, I think Maxwell, knowing that they would have had another day off, I think maybe he should have started her. But that's 2020. You sit here and talk about it right now. But I think it's pretty obvious Maxwell has to pitch every game from here on out. Do you not agree?
Oh, I agree 100%. I don't know if you're frozen or me, Jay, but I agree 100%. That's the way it's going to be the rest of the way. OU didn't score runs when they had chances to. That's another thing that's got to be talked about here. OU left the bags full a couple of innings. They left 2 runners on a couple of innings. They had the base running error. They had a couple of miscues in the field. You had the Boone dive. I actually thought she should have dove on the first one. But listen, it's Skylar Wallace and Jocelyn Erickson are the 2 that you've got to get out. They had their number 9 hitter that had the slap hitter, Malby, that had a good game today. But this team should not be able to outscore OU tomorrow.
And that's a great point, Chief. I agree with you. We can talk about this for an hour, and we're going to come to the same conclusion. It was a bad game, period, okay? OU didn't play up to their standard. I think all the players would say it. The coach would say it. And so that's just happened. And it happens sometimes. It's happened 3 times, now 4 times in this senior class where they've lost in the World Series. They had won 20 straight postseason games. It was a bad game all around. Hitting didn't come through when they needed it. Pitching was not good. So overall, it was a bad game. Sydney says she doesn't think Maxwell has another great game in her. We will find out. And it's going to take – now, I do think OU scores – I think OU scores 4 to 5 runs tomorrow, I would say. So, especially after seeing this picture.
Hey, Jay, do we have a game time for tomorrow? Because I have not seen it yet.
I jumped right on here afterwards, so I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I agree with this on May. I've said that for a while, but it doesn't matter, guys, at this point. Maxwell is going to start tomorrow and probably start the rest of the year, I would think. Maybe you can bring May in out of the pen in relief. They get a lead or something, but I don't know what's going to happen. OU's got to score more runs, though. I do know that. They hit the ball pretty hard today. Florida made some great defensive plays earlier that kind of changed the beginning of that game. I will say that.
Yeah, and Jen talks about how big of a deficit it was. That was a shocker. And Jay, were you at all surprised that Gasso didn't go with Maxwell down 4-3?
Yeah, no. What
about Keeney? Because I mean, Dill came in and allowed 2 massive bombs when OU had worked their way back into that game.
Well, I thought for sure after Dill allowed the next one to go up down 7-3, they would pull her. But then they waited really long until it was 9-3, and by that time, it's kind of almost too late. James says, you start your ace every game. She also can come back in later. Gimmick defense costs us in the park home run, throw strikes. And when he says throw strikes, that's what it has to be with Kelly Maxwell. Go look at her last few starts before this last one where she just pitched to Jen. She still pitched good as far as allowed. People weren't hitting her. She just wasn't throwing strikes. I think if she goes out there and throws strikes, she'll have a good game. And OU should score enough runs to win. Florida, guys, we've talked about it. They're not a great offensive team. They were today. They were unbelievable. Like you said, Jeremy, Wallace and Erickson, you got to pitch better too.
Well, a couple things. May's first time to the order. I mean, they had a couple of blue hits. She was okay. It was after the fact when Dill came in and they had 2 on. She got 2 straight pop-ups. I thought, man, if she can work out of this, she then allowed the hit, and the next inning the roof came off. But listen, Jay, you talk about throwing strikes. It might have been a good thing Maxwell wasn't pitching today, because I promise you, both sides, the only strike that was going to be called was a meatball down the middle. They were not getting any corners with that umpire. Both sides, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. The ump was squeezing both of them. I mean, I agree with that. But I think what you're seeing is go look at the teams that are fighting for their lives right now. They're pitching their ace every game. And I think OU, from here on out, you got to. Yeah, that was just CJ, I think, honestly, I think she was just trying to make a play because earlier on she didn't dive for it. I'm not going to sit here and bash players for I mean, I don't think that would have mattered. There were too many home runs that OU allowed to Florida today. The pitching was not good. Take away the inside the park home run, the pitching was not good. Guys, it was bad. Florida's not a terrific offensive team. It was bad. Okay? Dill didn't pitch great. They are the first inning. Other than that, I also think this. I think May was getting very frustrated with the home plate umpire. You can kind of see it on her face, and you just can't let it bother you. You can't.
Well, again, May wasn't great. She wasn't on her game, but she had pretty good stuff early on, I thought. Jay, yeah. I hope it goes back to the 2021 where we rocked UCLA, but the fact of the matter is you can't leave that many stranded. I would like to see Hanson back in the 4 hole myself where she was. I mean, she was 3 for 3 today, I think. She was elite.
Hey, talk about this for a second. The score was 1-0, if I remember right. Right?
It was, yeah, 1-0.
Was that right? Or was it 3-0? It was 1-0.
It was 1-0. They would have tied the game, Jay.
That was a massive, massive play by the center fielder, first off, because it's probably a triple. But second off, just an unexcusable play. And I watched the replay. Yes, she went back for a minute, and then Patty and her both were like, let's go. But it's just you can't leave third base until the ball's caught or the ball's past her. It's just, and I do think it mattered. I do think it made a difference maybe in the momentum. Now, you can look at it now and look at it and say, well, it doesn't matter. But I do think plays like that have a big impact on the game.
Yeah, they do. And there are a lot of little plays, Jay. The frustration was noticeable on OU side. Jada Coleman was flustered. She hit 3 to the warning track. She was just barely missing it. It was one of those games. You've got to regroup.
Wash it.
It doesn't matter. This is what championship teams do. Jay, I don't think Rothrock's pitching tomorrow.
She's pitching tomorrow. What are you talking?
If she pitches, they will tattoo her.
Jeremy, she's pitching.
Okay. They're going
Why
to get
would they not?
tattooed.
It's a must. Why would you not pitch your ace?
Jay, they were starting to tattoo her late in that game.
She's pitching.
Well,
Yeah.
bring it then.
The one that was in the bullpen, Brown, I think, allowed 3 home runs to Texas. They weren't bringing her in. So
no, I get it.
Maxwell's
got. Look, here's the worry, Jay. Here's the worry. If Maxwell isn't on her A game, you've already thrown Deal, May, and Keeney out there. I would think you'd go with May out of the bullpen, but let's just hope you don't have to get there. Let's just hope Maxwell is on her A game because OU puts on runs early.
Well, OU tomorrow has to come out first or second inning and put some runs on the board. I think that's and get a lead. One thing you can't do is, I think in this situation, getting behind. I think Maxwell needs to have a lead, be confident, and there you go. And I want to read this real quick. Chief says, at the beginning of the season, you told me we have to beat Florida once to play for the night. I take it in a heartbeat. I expect this team to bounce back in a big way. I agree, Chief, and I think they will bounce back in a big way tomorrow, and I think they win. And then they go into Texas. I think it'll be Texas. And although it would not shock me for Stanford to get the game tonight and then Texas win tomorrow. That wouldn't shock me.
I think you have to hope.
What do you think about the whole rule change? What do you think about moving the games, Jeremy?
I'm not a fan, but there's not much you can do, Jay. That's the only thing.
But isn't part of the win twice back to back part of the thing? Like, I don't understand why. Here's what I'm asking, and I want the viewers to comment if they agree or disagree. But could they not have said, "OU, you're playing your 2 games if necessary today. Tomorrow will be Texas and Stanford, 2 games if necessary. Back the World Series up one day, started on Thursday, Friday, Saturday." Why would that be an issue?
Yeah, I don't know, Jay. I don't know what really went through the mindset, but if you're an OU fan, you have to hope Stanford wins tonight. I think put more weak arms on Kennedy no, the if necessary games are not tonight. They changed it because of the weather. And Jeremy has a good point. Maybe it's good to regroup. There's going to be a senior-led meeting tonight. Gasso's going to speak wonders and do wonders. But hey, I'm with CJ. 3 out of the first 4 innings, OU gets a leadoff hitter on, and they can't do anything.
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple more hit and runs possibly.
Positives today. I think last few at-bats, Ella Parker looks like she might be getting back on track. I think that's a big positive. So good to see. I don't know, guys, viewers. I kind of thought maybe Sydney Sanders might snap out of it. She hasn't. And here's the deal: you got to put the ball in play. Just put the ball in play or something.
Well, the other thing that I didn't like, and look, Avery Hodge was good. Avery Hodge had the double. Avery Hodge had almost another hit up the middle. So she actually showed some things. I expect Torres to be in lineup tomorrow for the last game, for elimination game. But hey, let's say one thing that I would like to see more of it. Alyssa Brito, Jay, twice was 2-0, and Rothrock threw meat down the middle, and she didn't swing. She was taking the pitch. I want Alyssa Brito to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I thought overall they were pretty aggressive with some of the batters. I don't think
Lindsey Hansen was really aggressive.
It was a lot, Poncho. And here's the deal. They played 2 games now, 14 innings, 4 runs.
Yeah.
That's
David, I agree. Jada Coleman attacked, swinging at the first couple pitches. Kenzie Hansen did. You've got to be in attack mode. I get that the ump was calling some hard to call some strikes, so maybe they were trying to get people on base, especially late, and they did, but they couldn't get them around. Jay, you are right. Parker seemed to be hitting the ball pretty hard.
Robert, got to score first tomorrow. I agree. I think that's big. I think it's big. I think it's a big thing for Oklahoma and for Kelly Maxwell. I think.
Hey, and Jay, something everyone needs to think about. Listen to this right now, Jay. All these seniors, Kelly Maxwell's one of them, but there's about 8 or 9. Listen to this. Tomorrow is their last could be their last time they don this uniform. Today, it wasn't that. They knew going into this game today it wasn't going to be their last time. You've got all that emotion. Tomorrow could be it. It could be over. How will they respond and face that? That is a question, guys. Is how will they face kind of the end being in sight? That's something to think about. Yeah, the home plate umpire, Braden, was bad. Was bad. But I will say this, Braden, he was bad on both sides. It wasn't just favoring one team over the other. And listen, CJ, we will find out how much heart we have. Absolutely, we'll find out. I think this team is heart of a champion. I think we will see it tomorrow, a heart of a champion. I really do. Sometimes you need these games, and I know Patty Gasso in the middle of this game said, hey, we need to fight this adversity. We need to fight the adversity and see that see what we have. So, I mean, we'll see tomorrow what they got. I expect it to be a great response, personally.
I agree. I missed a little bit what you said, but I expect this team to bounce back. And I think sometimes in situations like this, when you kind of get beat pretty handily, that you can maybe you can overthink about it, right? And think you can criticize, you can talk about all the plays that weren't made. But here's the real deal is that this game matters nothing if you go win tomorrow. So nothing means nothing. That's why the UCLA game was so big, because you have a game where you can lose, correct? So that's why tomorrow, I mean, it's all on the line now. Florida, OU. I thought this would be the championship series, OU, Florida, but get it tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so. I'm really trying to see when the game time is going to be released for this.
I'm not sure what Michael's asking on that. Sooner Magic tomorrow. That's right, Poncho.
Yeah, they got hit in the mouth. Absolutely did.
Home field advantage.
Yeah, the home field advantage didn't work out, did it?
No, and they just pounded the ball. I mean, it was pretty. How many runs did Florida score with 2 outs today? I want to say like 7 or 8. Was it not? It may have been all of them. I don't know.
Most of their hitting was done with 2 outs, Jay. Absolutely.
What's that?
Most of their big-time hits were done with 2 outs.
Sooner Cowboys says starts at 1:30, things.
Yeah, similar to today. I mean, look, you're right, Jay. And I know Sydney said, can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah.
Sydney said, oh, you just got a bunch of Jags on their staff. I'm not going to sit here and say that, because I think Kelly Maxwell is really, really good. I think Nicole May is really, really good. She didn't have it today. This Florida team hit him in the mouth, as someone said, had a lot of big-time hits, had timely hitting, as Alan says, but I'm not going to say, oh, he's got a just average pitchers or just another pitcher. Not many teams have elite staff.
CJ, I agree. I said this right when the game started. I think it's dumb. The team that's seated higher and does not have a loss should be the home team. I think that's a silly rule. I do. It didn't matter in this game, but it might matter in one game. I'm just saying I think that's a silly rule. I know they've always
should be home tomorrow.
What's that?
OU should be the home team tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Man, the amount, and Jay, the amount of pressure that is on this OU team tomorrow. I mean, Florida doesn't have pressure, Jay. It's all on OU.
It is. So we'll see. I think this is what they live for, though, Jeremy.
I do, too.
You look at this senior class, this is kind of what they've done.
It is.
And, I mean, I don't want to say – I mean, I saw Boone in the 6th inning make a catch, and her and Tiari looked like they were, just no big deal. Like, I honestly think they're going to go in the locker room tonight. They're going to pretty much say – and I think Patty will say, let's not even talk about this game. It's over. We not talk about the mistakes, not talk about the base running errors, not talk about what we didn't do. Tomorrow, one game against Florida. Kelly Maxwell, how are you going to respond to your best pitching outer maybe your career? How are you going to respond to that, Dr. Maxwell? and then Oklahoma bats. It's time to wake up. 4 runs in 14 innings. Guys, you're not winning. This team is not beat. I don't think even if they beat Florida, if the bats don't come alive, Texas can score. You're going to have to get the bats going.
Yeah, and pitching. Teresa says pitching staff is 5 in D1 according to D1 softball. But you're right, Jay. They've got to show up with the bats, because if OU can score 5 to 7 runs, this game's going to be over tomorrow. And they need to handle the pressure. And Jay, again, I've said it. The fact that this could be it for these seniors tomorrow is just, it's hard to even think about, honestly, Jay, that it would be over. All the pressure on OU.
It really is hard to think about. And here's what I want to say, too, is going off Colin's comment. It is to the point where it's so, the expected is just unbelievable what people expect. And I really encourage OU fans tonight, after this loss. Yes, we can sit on here and talk about bad plays that were made or talk about it wasn't a great performance. But just keep in mind, hopefully there's 3 or 4 more games left for this team, and this class is gone. So I think cherish it. Tomorrow, it's all the pressure. You got it on you. How are they going to respond? Let's see how they respond. So
enjoy the
tomorrow. What's that?
Colin says he's trying to enjoy the incredible ride, and we should. It's easy as fans to get maybe over-exaggerate some things and get too high or get too low. But the fact of the matter is, tomorrow, it is all over or it continues. And it's not just over for one, it's over for a lot that have been a part of this major championship program for a long time, Jay. Did you notice Skylar Wallace doing the thing by the ear after her home run? I hope the OU players saw that.
Hey, yeah, I like what Teresa said. She agreed with Colin. Hey, Jeremy, this is a great point, and I kind of have my opinion of this. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Love your comment on this. But do you think, somebody like Kirsten Deal, who this year, early on, they were kind of going Maxwell, May, Deal. That was Maxwell, Deal, May. Those 3 were kind of getting the starts in the rotation. And then as the end of the year came, it just kind of fizzled with her. Do you think at some point for these pitchers to not be hit or miss, do they need more innings pitched? I mean, I'm serious. Like, at what point, I mean, you look at it, Monticelli, S.J. Guerin, Keeney, Deal, they just didn't pitch a whole lot down the stretch. And for Kirsten Deal to be the next ace at OU, doesn't it take kind of pitching a lot of innings and getting experience, though?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, Jay. I'm trying to change locations here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I mean, okay. Yeah, Jay, you're right on that. But when it gets down to it, every team, when it comes down to the Women's College World Series, they go with their one pitcher. So does it even matter?
Yeah, it does matter. I think it does matter. Sooner Cowboy said, I enjoyed the last 3 national championships. Nothing is ever guaranteed. That's right. Enjoy the last 3. And here's the thing. They still have a chance to win their 4th natty. And that's the thing. So they can still do it. And it's not like their backs are against the wall. That's what I don't want to say, is I don't think their backs are against the wall at all. I just think it's one game and you got to go play your best and win it. It's not like they're down and they got to win 2 or 3 games in a row. They got one game to play tomorrow against Florida, and they got to win it. Now, this is an interesting talk. I want to get to this in a minute. Where are you? You just keep switching spots. Susan says tomorrow.
Sorry, Jay, having connectivity.
We get another chance to watch one of the best team of seniors. I agree, Susan. Love that comment. 2 things when championship games. Number 1, pitcher defense, play terrible offense, not ready. The senior group is tired. I don't think they're tired. I just think Tizzy says Riley Ludwig should play first base. That's an interesting topic. Jeremy, thoughts?
Well, first off, Riley Ludwig shouldn't. It'd be Riley Ludlam. And second of all, I'm all for Riley Leatherman getting some at bats. The problem is, I don't know if you can defensively, Jay, and that's the only thing.
Yeah, but you know what you could do is pinch hitter. You can still play Sanders at defense pinch hitter once. So that's an option.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
I'm trying to see some comments rolling in here, Jay. I can't. I'm struggling.
Yeah, CJ says gets 2 hits versus Texas and pulls a 9-run. Yeah, you can't make it up. It was just not Oklahoma's day. I mean, what can you say? You could kind of tell it at the beginning of the game with Boone's hit and some of the issues that were happening. I mean, even the first run that Florida scored got the base running because T.R. Jennings had a little bit of a bobble at shortstop. And then you get a run. So, Tone Loke. When OU wins tomorrow, will there be a day off Wednesday now and play Thursday? No, they did not change that. So it sounds like tomorrow is normal, and then Wednesday is going to be the games. Is kind of what I'm hearing. So, Don says Hodge and Sanders are killing OU at the bats. Needed to get the bats game. Yeah, new day tomorrow, Cameron. I agree. New day. It's a new day. I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, it's a new day.
What's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a new day. So listen. The deal is tomorrow's a new day. OU's got the greatest coach in the history of the game, Jay, and they got the greatest senior class in the history of the game. I think they're going to get it done. I can't wait to watch it, and let's enjoy the ride, and let's hope Maxwell has her A game, Jay.
Yeah, that's right. Colin says it good here. I think this is a good one maybe to end on here. Obviously, this team is hard to beat twice, and you can second guess a decision to not go for the jugular game 1. If 2 days off gives Maxwell extra juice, we'll see. Tomorrow, she'll be rested. It's one game. You got your ace. They got their ace. Who's going to win? We'll see what happens. Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone else, Cameron. And I think this team's just fine. I think they're going to go out tomorrow. I think they're going to win. Everybody will forget about this game after tomorrow. I think OU wins. I think they get it to the championship series against Texas. I think Texas is going to have to play game 2 as well tomorrow because I think Kennedy's getting them tonight. We'll see. Appreciate you guys being on here.
Jay, I don't know. Jay, wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've got to respond to a comment. Look, I agree. Erickson would have been here and probably playing first base. I absolutely agree. But I do not like the phrase so-called GOAT on here. Patty Gasso is the GOAT. We have to admit that. To say a so-called GOAT, come on, Sydney. That's a little bit much.
Yeah, Teresa says hit the like. Appreciate it. I think people are – I mean, you got a lot – when this game like this happens and you lose pretty handily, got a lot of emotion, a lot of people upset. But listen, there's nothing to be – it's one game. It's one game. It's over. Wash it, flush it, as people say. Move on tomorrow. Go win. You got the greatest senior class in solid college softball history, one of the greatest coaches in college softball history. It's one game. Let's see. One game. Can OU do it? One game from the championship series to win their 4th night in a row. Let's see what happens. Appreciate you guys joining us as always. Thank you so much for the comments. Appreciate it. We'll be back on tonight for a live. Appreciate all you guys do. Talk to you later. Boomer.